Hey, everybody. Thanks for hopping on. I'm Dr. Brett Brimhall. For those of you who maybe don't know me, I'm excited for you guys to hop on what we call our Wednesday Wellness. It's a place where we try to gather together to pull people in that to help us, make sense of this crazy world we're a part of and give people solutions for their families. And tonight we have an extra special guest on, Dr. Rebecca Glosser, and she's, been in practice 20 years. She as a plastic surgeon and specialized in breast reconstruction surgery after mastectomies. So imagine, the type of individuals she'd worked with and the people that she'd been able to help to rebuild their lives. And so, Dr. Rebecca, thank you so much for spending your time with us tonight. I know you're busy and sought after, and just grateful to have you here with us. And we've been, Dr. Glosser and I've been talking a little bit the last week on and off, a little bit about this conversation that we want to have with you. Because I know that I've just been in practice for 20 plus years myself. I have a lot of people ask me a lot of questions and they're just not sure a lot of times what they can do to help themselves. And so I'm a chiropractor, so practice natural medicine, functional medicine. Dr. Glosser's MD. And so now you have two doctors, very different specialties, right? Having a conversation about how do we help other people know what they can do to help their health. And so, Dr. Rebecca, we've been talking about this, and what are some of the things that, I'd love to maybe hear a little bit of your story about, why you are so passionate about immune health or literally healthcare in general, and like what got you that way.
So let's see where it all started. So I'm from North Carolina originally, and decided really after college that I wanted to go into medicine. I'm your typical science geek. I always loved those areas, but I always had a passion for helping people. And you're going through medical school and you're trying to figure out what specialty to go into. And once I got into surgery, I just couldn't get enough of it. So that ended up being my specialty. And I particularly liked plastics just because it was kind of a creative specialty. We got to do so many things. We got to work on little babies with cleft lip and palates, but then we got to work with women with breast cancer reconstruction. We got to do flaps with orthopedics. We got to do trauma. It just, to me, appealed to everything that I wanted to do.
I can't imagine the lives you've touched and the conversations you've had. So appreciate you taking some time to be with us.
Absolutely.
And one of the conversations that you and I had was a little bit about what's been going on in the world lately about, really the immune system and, even the idea of like, hey, I get vaccinated, do I not get vaccinated? And I know you and I discussed this a little bit about what we personally have decided to do and for what reasons. And a lot of people are in that boat. Like some are getting vaccinated, some aren't. Some are doing it because that's what's right for them, and others to maybe try to so they can go see their families. But the bottom line is like how do we help make sure that we know how to help our families and ourselves stay healthy and whole?
Right.
And go ahead.
Yeah. No, please finish.
And so with that in mind, like what do you do for your family personally and yourself to make sure that your immune system is like at its peak?
Right. So I think, the backdrop of all of this is, of course, what's going on, not just in the United States, but across the globe right now. And so I think we're all very aware of COVID. We know that this is not a one-year thing. We know that viruses and mutations of this virus are going to continue and continue. It's here to stay for a while. And so to me, there has never been a bigger time to pay more attention to immune health. And, obviously Brett and I have different opinions on that, and this certainly isn't a discussion as to whether or not you should get vaccinated. What I kind of see from this is we all have to make a personal opinion, a personal choice based on our risks and benefits of whether or not we want to get the vaccine. And what I love about working with Brett is I decided to have the vaccine because of some personal things that were going on in my family, and he decided not to. Again, it was a personal choice. It's always weighing out those risks and benefits. Personally, for me, I have been so blessed to have a mom and dad that have lived into their 90s. And my parents have been at a retirement home. My mother has been in 24-hour a day assisted living. And a year ago, she broke her ankle right when COVID was hitting. And so for me, when the vaccine became available, it was an easy choice for me. I was like, I'm going to see my parents. I'm going to visit them. I'm going to take care of my mom. And I'm going to be able to see her every 3 to 4 months to help take care of her. So for me, the choice of getting the vaccine was more just so that I could be around my parents, because my parents were very concerned, almost to the level of panic that they might die from COVID. So that was an easy choice for me. And again, it was a personal choice. Brett, I know that for you, those risks and benefits didn't play out the same way. And so you decided not to get a vaccine, correct?
Yeah. And so I love the fact that we can make that personal choice. And I think that's where in medicine personally, like I think we need the informed benefits and then make the choice based on you. And then based on your choice, do what you can to have the best outcome. And so I appreciate you sharing that, because I think people in that boat, they feel, bad one way or the other. And I think it's got to come down to personal choice. And then, okay, what can we personally do about it? Because that's the end of the day. Because I can't imagine not being able to go see my family. Right. And so so it allows you to make that choice and to be with them, because you don't know how long they'll be there. And so one of the things that we wanted to kind of talk about here, guys, is, there are things that you can do every single day. I'm going to get into product specific things that we personally do, but we want to talk just some basic stuff. Like if you don't know about that, you should just do from a habit and lifestyle thing. Like this last week, it drove me crazy. In the sense of I have a daughter that dances, love to dance, like just love it. Right. She's a senior. So this is, my last year, get to see her dance. And like they start and dance, like literally her first dance was at 10:30 at night. She danced till midnight, had to be back on stage at 7 a.m., danced till midnight, back on stage again at 7 a.m. And as a father and as a physician, I was angry, knowing full well that she was going to come out of that sick. Right. And so I did a ton of things with her to make sure that she was the best she could be under the circumstances. So from tonight, like some of the things that we're going to touch on, just good habits to have, right? Because all the things my daughter did, and the dancers, they eat like crap, guys. They eat sugar like nonstop. Right. All that puts you up in a very compromised immune system. So Rebecca, like I'd love to kind of just touch on like, what are some habits that we just need to all try to work on incorporating, first of all, to just make sure that we put ourselves in the best position possible. And maybe some things we probably shouldn't do that would compromise the immune system.
Sure. And it's always that word that you can't always control, which is stress. I think so many of us face stress each and every day. It's been a stressful year. But there are certain things that you have to do, certain behaviors that you have to do to learn to alleviate and to deal with that stress. Because when you become stressed, you don't sleep well at night, you don't have energy the next day, you don't feel good. And when all of that energy is going to alleviating stress, it certainly drops your immune system. So everyone has their own thing. I will tell you, for me, I go to yoga every week. It's on my calendar so that I don't miss it. But I'm a huge believer in exercise. And it's amazing once you start looking at people who have a simple routine in exercise, how much that does to help boost your immune system and just make you feel better and put you in a more positive mood. So exercise, I think with New Year's resolutions, what an easy thing to do in order to help build your immune system.
Is that my exercise? I heard the word sleep in there. Any
Yeah.
not do's that would definitely compromise their immune system besides be a dancer and eat sugar?
Yeah, I think the people who are burning the candle at both ends, where you're staying up late, getting up early, pushing, not taking any time downtime. Gosh, the other thing you really see is once people get sick, they get in this cycle when their body's never able to recover and they just keep getting sick and sick and sick again. So again, we always get back to this in medicine. What can we do from a prevention standpoint to try and build our immune system and try and, stop from getting sick and stop from letting our immune system break down in the first place?
Yeah, I love that. So guys, simple principles, like I said, the body literally, if you don't listen to it, it will make you listen. And it's usually in the form of getting sick. So I always joke when somebody's sick, especially a teenager, say, did you catch that cold or did you earn that cold? Right. So a lot of us earn things based upon habits and choices. Now, so one of the things I want to do, because I know that we all know, yeah, hey, we try to exercise, I probably should sleep better. I probably should lower my stress, right? Um, and I really wish my kids would eat better all the time, but I can't always like control that. And one thing I love about what we've done and been part of the Life Vantage is there's specific products that we can do to maximize the results that we can get. And they have what we call the immune stack. And Rebecca and I want to talk a little about this, about why we love this so much, and a little bit about maybe the science of it a little bit, and why it's effective. And so I know, Rebecca, you love the immune stack. Maybe run through what those are, and we can maybe talk about those individually a little bit and how they work together.
Sure. So I do like a lot of the focus of some of these stacks where we're really trying to be problem focused. And, if you look in the United States or even globally right now, if you look at priorities, I think one of the number one priorities for people right now is their immune system and building their immune system. So this is nice. You don't have to talk to a doctor in order to figure out which products do I need to take. We've done that for you in creating this immune stack. So it's 3 products. It's of course our flagship product, which is Protandim NRF2. It's our daily wellness. And in addition to that, it's our probiotics. So those 3 things make up our immune stack.
And what I love that you said about that is a stack. And I kind of, people are focused on their immune system. And all the time, I literally had a lady bring in today like 15 different bottles of things. Right. And I know, and I always ask, well, how'd you find out? How'd you choose them? Well, like my friend mentioned this one, and then I read the reviews on Amazon on this one, and this and that. And so I know people are trying, like they're trying to do what they know. Right. So, and I'm grateful to be a part of a company it's a publicly traded and global, that we can impact people's lives all over. And so you mentioned the flagship product, Protandim NRF2. And when people see that, most of the time they don't think of it in the form of like, why would I take that as something that would be helpful for my immune system? So kind of fill us in a little bit on that, why that's important. And what it is.
And so, again, you have to understand, of course, some of the science behind Protandim NRF2. And so when this was originally discovered, we were looking specifically as talking about oxidative stress. So we've been talking a lot about stress, but let's kind of define what oxidative stress is. So I like to think of oxidative stress as our bodies rusting from the inside out. So just as you might take a piece of metal and leave that metal outside, that metal would rust. Or if you took an apple and you cut that apple in half, that apple would turn brown. So we ourselves are unfortunately rusting from the inside out. We're developing this oxidative stress. And Dr. Brett and I have, of course, come at it at the science side of it, where we're looking at oxidative stress. And that's such a big thing in a chiropractic practice. But if you went to the NIH and you typed into PubMed, the National Institute of Health, and you looked up oxidative stress, there's over 220,000 studies on oxidative stress and how it is a major contributing factor to how and why we age. So Brett, I know in your practice, you certainly see a lot of oxidative stress and certainly try and educate your patients about it.
Yeah. And I love what you said is like we said at the very beginning, like if people could lower their stress, right? This has to do with physical, emotional, cellular stress. Any stress you lower allows your body to have energy to do other things. Right. So if we can take one product that literally we know reduces that stress level on the cell by 40%, it's a foundation of helping have a healthy cell. Healthy cells make healthy organs. Healthy organs make a healthy human, right? And so that is the foundational piece and why that's so important. So actually, I love how you described that. What about this daily wellness thing that we're talking about? Somebody asked, is that a multi? Like, what is that exactly?
Yeah, so I'm actually gonna just kind of back up to Protandim NRF2 and
Okay.
swing that back around to, okay, well, how does that affect our immune system? So one of the things we always think of our products as activators, as doing something to flip switches within the cell. So we're flipping the switch to cause the production of more antioxidant enzymes. One that I think is great for you guys to look up tonight is one that's called glutathione. Glutathione. That's someone can maybe spell it out in the chat for us. Thank you, Nikki. So glutathione is so interesting, but the study shows that Protandim NRF2 increases glutathione levels by 300% in 120 days. So why is this so important? Well, it's important because glutathione is so important for your immune system. It's what's helping fight off all of these things that is attacking your cells, that is attacking your body. So you can imagine that by continuously taking Protandim, it takes about 4 months, right, for it to work, how that might help promote immune health.
Something that rang in my head when you said that is that, because I know a lot of people take they take NAC, right? Versus and so why do they take NAC and why is this different?
Yeah, and so I think what's so interesting is a lot of times people will take individual ingredients, or they might take what we think of as precursors
So think of
to
it as
things.
the ingredients, guys. So a precursor would be like the ingredients you need to make something. So you got to have enough like flour to make bread. So
Right. So what they found in some of the studies that have been published on Protandim is that it wasn't about an individual ingredient that was in Protandim. So Protandim NRF2 is made up of 5 ingredients, right? So turmeric, milk thistle, it's got green tea, it's got ashwagandha and bacopa. And one of the studies showed that it wasn't about an individual ingredient, but it was something about that combination of all 5 together that flipped that switch, that turned on the NRF2 pathway by 18-fold. So we're gonna leave science to the scientists. We're very thankful to Dr. Joe McCord for doing those studies and proving how this product works by this proprietary blend.
yeah, and yeah, this is fascinating. Like, and being in clinical practice 21 years, to see the difference in the synergy this affects on how the human experience happens is awesome. So, and that's what I love. No matter who you are, what you have going on, you improve how your body can make these enzymes and lower that oxidative stress. If you're a human and you have any level of stress or you live on this planet, you should take it.
Right. And certainly the idea in the first study that came out that showed that Protandim NRF2 decreases oxidative stress on average 40% in 30 days. I think it's something we all need, whether immune health is our priority or longevity or just living a healthier life. It's such an amazing product, and that's why it's our flagship product.
Yeah, thank you. Someone asked, like, how and when should you take it?
Yeah, so I believe in the KISS principle. So I take everything in the morning, first thing. And with breakfast is fine, but for those of you guys who are intermittent fasters like me, I take mine on an empty stomach all the time.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So what about this daily wellness stuff?
So daily wellness, I think, is absolutely brilliant because, again, we had been developing this product for quite some time. And when you start looking at the ingredients in daily wellness, you'll realize, okay, these are things that I've been taking anyway for prevention. So it has 5 main ingredients and it comes in a powder form, which makes it easy. You just put it in water. It has an acai taste to it. It's very nice, but it's 5 main ingredients. Okay. And so it's vitamin C. You guys have been taking that forever for colds and flu, right? Vitamin D. We know the importance of vitamin D and how, again, not only in bone health, but also in immune health. It's got zinc. And I want to say that the zinc level in there is good. I used to take zinc at higher levels and it would make me nauseous or give me an upset stomach. So this is again meant to be a daily dose of zinc. And then it's got elderberry, also wonderful for your immune system. And then the last one is fermented yeast. And I love the story behind the fermented yeast and how they came to find that.
So maybe people haven't heard that. I don't know if they've heard that. Maybe you recap that briefly. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I think it's a neat story. So for those of you who are animal fans, you know, there was a gentleman who used to develop animal feed, and he wanted his animals to stay well. And he got big, and he had this big factory, and his health insurance company called him wondering why in the world none of his factory workers ever called in sick. And so they started doing studies on the fermented yeast, and they found, sure enough, it boosted your immune system. So that's our fifth ingredient that's in the daily wellness. And to me, again, instead of having to take 5 different pills, you know, here we're trying to that KISS principle, keep it simple. It's meant not to be taken like emergency. Have you guys ever taken things like emergency before, where you're like, oh, I feel a tickle in my throat, and you're downing like these super high levels of everything? Again, the goal is prevention. This is something to be taken daily, so it helps prevent you from getting sick in the first place. Or if you do get sick, it wants to try and lessen your symptoms, right? Because the whole goal is to build your immune system.
I love that. So proactive immunity versus reactive immunity.
Exactly.
And I love that story, because every time I think about that, they weren't taking it. They were breathing it in.
Right.
Right. So that goes to show you the things that you breathe in are either good or not so good. And so how powerful is that? And we know that the lungs are part of our immune system. Right. And we also know that the digestive tract is part of our immune system. So part of that stack I know is the probiotic. Right. So what do you like about that? And like, why is that important to you for your health strategy? Also for those that you love and care about?
Yeah. So I think finally in the world of medicine, gut health is coming to the forefront. If we had listened to chiropractors long ago, we would have put it at the forefront a while ago. But, you know, so many times when you're seeing things on the outside of the body, whether it's, you know, problems with the skin or problems with the hair or rashes or allergies, a lot of it is all from the gut. So again, we think that the gut is such an important thing. The gut is very important from an immune standpoint, because we now know that about 80% of our immune cells reside in our gut. And so if you have a healthy gut, then you have a healthy immune system. Our probiotic is really, we've made some changes in it over the last year to, again, simplify it. We went down from 3 pills to just 1 capsule. But what I love about a probiotic, you know, what's the purpose of it? The purpose is that you're providing good bacteria to repopulate the gut and create this healthy microbiome. Okay, that's the whole purpose of it. But if you think about most probiotics, the majority of probiotics are destroyed in the stomach by stomach acid as they're going down. So, you know, if you watch Jamie Lee Curtis for years and you thought Activia was doing it for you, and you were doing your probiotic and your Activia every day, you know, you were fooled and you were getting a whole lot of sugar, right? So again, we wanted to formulate a probiotic that could make the journey. We wanted that technology so that it would pass through the stomach and the stomach acid and still be able to deliver those good bacteria to the small and large intestine. So that's what we have really done with our ProBio. So it helps with your immune system, but certainly it helps with a whole lot of other problems as well.
Yeah, I love that. It helps you make the journey, right? It's such a simple concept, but it's so huge. And I actually appreciate you giving Kairos a little credit there on that. But I think it's Hippocrates that said that food be thy medicine, right? So I love the recap. Kind of what you said is the fact is that, look, if we can lower oxidative stress, if we can give the person the daily nutrients and things that the body needs for immune response and keep the gut healthy, we're putting ourselves in a position to win. And I know for me personally, this is the foundation I use with my kids and my family. I love the fact that the daily wellness is a powder. Literally, I put that in smoothies and all those other things. I teach kids to do that. And when my kids were really little, I would always do that. I'd add nutrients to their smoothies and stuff like that so I could get them into them, right? Because what I learned about as far as my own family is when one kid got sick, it would pass to the next to the next. And so it's not a matter of you're going to have exposure to this virus or any other virus, like it's going to happen. It's just a matter of how prepared will you be, how proactive will you be, so that you and your family can get through it right. And so, and one of the things that Rebecca, you and I talked about specifically at the beginning and earlier this week was about to try to help dispel maybe some of the fear that people have. And so to kind of bring it back together, what are any final thoughts you'd have for all of us that we could share with our friends or families to like, hey, what should we be doing on a daily basis, and to go in it knowing, hey, confidently that we're doing the right things?
Yeah, I mean, so much of it is confidence and it's belief, right? And so if you are doing all these things, if you're taking the immune stack, if you're getting exercise, if you're trying to lower stress, if you're approaching the world with a positive attitude, it's going to help you so much in the long run. It makes me sad to watch people who are locked up in their homes, who are just scared to go out because it's causing all sorts of mental health problems and the like, right? And so it's all about building your immune system. These are such easy steps to do to build your immune system and be able to live life to the fullest. Because really, when it comes down to it, it's just about quality of life. And we all need to have a quality of life. Otherwise, it's not really a life, right?
Yeah. Rebecca, thank you so much for taking your time to be with us and to share this. And I appreciate you and sharing your expertise, but also your heart and giving us some things that we can absolutely use with our friends and family, and to bring it back around, like to be able to be with our friends and our family, and to not be in fear. And I think that just summed it all up, because really, yeah, as I say, we are in this together. And to me, part of that is making sure that you're healthy, you help those around yourself be healthy physically, mentally, and emotionally, so that we can all get through whatever life brings you and come out on top. So thank you so much. And everybody, thank you so much for being here. There'll be every Wednesday we do this. Invite those that are looking for perspective and hope and thoughts, and bring them here. Let them be a part of this. We love your energy. So thank you all for being here, and God bless.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Good night.
Thanks you both so much. That was so good. So
Thank you.
good. Thank you.
Bye, guys.